keep saying maybe we shouldn't be friends. I think we shouldn't hang out anymore, Chauncey.
Yeah.
But the way she
can you
says
say it?
not when you're looking right at me. Maybe we shouldn't hang out anymore, Chauncey.
Yeah, like
and it's like she's like nasally.
Because she's like crying.
Me. Not my problem. It's not true.
We're talking about whether or not people really genuinely love Joe. And guess what? I love you for who you are, man.
Thanks. My friend Graham, shout out Graham, he says that he's been saying for years that I'm completely unlovable. I kind of don't disagree.
That's like really unfortunate and really sad that your friend's telling you that. And especially you love Graham so much that it's like a little disappointing to hear.
Yeah, but I'm like the best thing that happened to him in the last, since we met anyway. I'm
Adorable.
pretty sure. So
adorable.
It's all good.
Adorable.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about
So it's been a while. We have not seen each other.
I know, it really has been a while. But Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 is coming out.
Bam.
And by the time this airs,
we should have already seen it. And if not, something happened.
Right. And in which case we are seeing it because we're seeing it with Shout Out Heather.
Shout out Heather.
But we realized that we really do love horror things. Like all things horror. So,
even shitty horror.
Even like really bad horror movies. So you say horror? You say horror? Horror?
Now you're going to make me think.
Horror? I say horror.
Horror movies?
Horror movies.
How do you say it?
I say horror movies.
Horror? That sounds like porn. Horror movies?
But you said horror.
Horror movies. I actually say there's no second horror. I think that's how I say it. Horror movies.
Horror movies.
I have no idea.
So this episode's not about the way we pronounce that, but I was looking up movies that are coming out this year because we both like scary movies, and I saw one, and as I was reading it, I said, "Oh, Imaginary," and he was like, "I just saw the trailer for it because you went to the movies and you watched the trailer for it, and the first thing you said was Chauncey, and repeated a line from the movie trailer of this little girl that's like, we shouldn't be friends anymore, Chauncey," or something like that.
Yeah,
so you want to impersonate it? Because you said it a lot better than I did.
I keep saying maybe we shouldn't be friends. I think we shouldn't hang out anymore, Chauncey.
Yeah.
But the way she
can you
says
say it?
Not when you're looking right at me. Maybe we shouldn't hang out anymore, Chauncey.
Yeah, like
and it's like she's like nasally.
Because she's like crying.
Me. Not my problem.
She's crying.
It's so annoying.
She's scared.
That's annoying. Don't be scared.
So we figured we'd talk about this movie because the first thing that I said was, I feel like this is a ripoff to Chucky. It's a doll that comes to life and is potentially murderous.
It's almost like
meets Annabelle.
It's probably more Annabelle. I see what you're saying with Chucky. He doesn't ever come to life, but he's like possessed by. He's like a
right.
It's like Annabelle. Like the entity is
inside
possessed,
of it,
but you don't ever see it do anything. I don't think,
because I feel like I just saw in the trailer. At one point, the girl says, "It's behind you," or "He's behind you." And it looks like a full-grown shadow of a man, in which case that makes me think it's Annabelle, because that's kind of what it is. It's like this entity is trapped inside of a toy doll, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the entity is like an older, potentially person. It's not
or like
always
a demon or something.
Yeah, like... I think for Annabelle, it wasn't like a little girl. It was like this old woman, right? Yeah, it was an old woman, whatever her name is, the demon witch.
Wait.
Like it was like the decrepit old lady.
That wasn't Bathsheba, right? That was from that was the Conjuring movie.
But the Conjuring movie started from Annabelle. Wasn't it?
But it wasn't the same entity.
Movie. Yeah, that's true.
It's like the Warrens, all the like their investigations have
right.
turned into movies, and some are like just too theatrical.
They didn't tease Annabelle at all in The Conjuring?
I think they teased The Conjuring in Annabelle, which came out after The Conjuring. Because it's all in the same universe. It's in like the Warren universe.
Okay. So it's giving, maybe I could be completely wrong. I'm going to check on that in a sec. But it's giving that kind of vibe. And I feel like it's already been done 1-2 times, and it's been done really well. So I didn't even know that this movie was coming out, being truthful on that.
Well, the difference with this and Annabelle is Annabelle looked creepy. This just looks like an old stuffed animal. Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to do the same premise of it being like something that someone picked up from like a gift store. It was an antique store. They picked it up. There's an old, but like from what it seems like, it was like the girl, her stepdaughter is playing with this toy. She goes back to the premise of it is she goes back to her old childhood house, and there's this toy, and her stepdaughter plays with the toy and has imaginary friends, which then causes mayhem to ensue because the girl starts getting into trouble, and then the older woman later learns that maybe this doll isn't just a doll. Like it's something that's possessed, and she should be scared of it.
Yeah, because there's like a checklist that she has to do these certain things, and then like one of the last things is something that hurts you, and she like puts her finger on like a nail or something. So then that's when the mother's like,
"Oh, there's a problem."
Yeah, there's something wrong here.
It's funny because those are the things that like creep me out. Like I don't get creeped out from like someone like sawing off their arms really or anything like in Saw.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's like the things that like I could see myself doing where like I accidentally put my hand on something on like and like a nail just goes through my hand. That's the stuff that I like cringe on.
See, I can't watch. You know, Home Alone when Marv steps on the nail. I can't watch it.
I cringe on that because that's something that I like when I was younger. I stepped on a glass like a cup.
Yeah.
And I broke it, but I luckily never got glass in my foot. I somehow managed to do this and like skid by somehow miraculously. But like that's the kind of stuff that I can't watch. Like the things that can happen, like a nail, stepping on a nail. My friend stepped on a nail in high school, had to go get a tetanus shot.
Yeah. Been there.
Like you have?
I stepped on a nail like multiple times.
Yeah, like that, stepping on glass, can't really, like, I watch it and I'm like.
That's like, I can't watch, like, a needle go into my arm to give blood or to get shots. Like, I used to, but now it's just like, I'd rather just feel it. Same thing with tattoos. Like, I'd rather just not look. I'd rather just, like.
It's so funny because you're, like, covered in tattoos. But Nick's the same way.
I hate watching it.
Nick passes out.
Does he really?
Nick passes out with
giving
needles.
blood?
Needles.
Oh, needles in general.
He doesn't with, like, tattoos for whatever reason, but for, like. Drawing blood, seeing needles. Like if I talk about blood, he gets woozy.
Interesting. Okay, I don't get to that, but I don't like anything like penetrating the skin. So even though a tattoo isn't, I also have different reasons for not looking because sometimes after so long, like my threshold's already like, oh, what the fuck? And if I look down and they're only like here and they got to do this whole thing, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, you're mad at that point.
So I don't. Okay, I don't look.
That's fair. But yeah. So like seeing the stuff like that when I saw the nail and then she covered it with like a little dandelion flower and then she goes like this.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the kind of stuff that like makes me like ooh. But like this killer teddy bear could attack her and I'd be completely fine and like rip her face off. But it's like that stuff that I'm like, I don't.
It's weird. It's like seeing a needle in skin, a shot, stepping on a nail. Like those are things for some reason I don't like it either.
Do you think this movie is going to be scary? No. I feel like it's not.
No, God,
do you think it's going to be as like funny, stupid, scary as like Blood and Honey, or like a little better than that? I have a series of questions to ask you about this. So like, let's start with that one. Like, do you think it's going to be like the funny, stupid, scary? Like, Blood and Honey?
I think it's going to be, the intent is to be scary.
Okay. Now, what is the movie that you would most closely try to like relate this to? Like, you think it's going to be like
Annabelle.
You think it's going to be like Annabelle?
I think so.
And you think it's going to be? Did you think Annabelle was scary or no?
No, it was interesting. It was like I think it was okay. I mean, I think they made like it's gonna be like 3 installments of it though.
Yeah, they did a lot. I think it's going to be like dumber than Annabelle. Like I think Annabelle was kind of like spooky because I'm like this. There was an actual doll. I mean, they made it look creepier than what it really was. It was like this little like Raggedy Ann type doll, but it's based off of like a real thing, and that's what gives me like the creepies about it. But this like teddy bear, unless
would you put this between Annabelle and Megan?
See, I only watched like a little piece of Megan. I probably would though, based on what I did see, because I didn't see all of it, and I know you did.
Yeah.
Did you like Megan?
It was, I mean, going into it, it's like the new age Chucky, and it was a little bit silly. Like, I think it was somewhat intentionally silly.
It danced. Like, she's like...
Right. So I think it was...
I probably would.
It was probably in between those two. Actually, the Megan 2 or 2.0 is coming out next January, I think.
That's bananas.
You also have to look up the trailer at some point. We got to do a thing on Abigail.
Oh, yeah, because I was reading the movies that are coming out this year, and it was like Imaginary and Dune 2. Well, that wasn't under like scary, but it was like The Other Terrifier, Saw, this, that, the swimming water one that you have already seen. Like,
Night Swim.
Yes. So there were like a bunch of things like that. And then I read Annabelle, and the cover of it is like this little girl in a ballerina outfit, and she's just like sitting, and it's like this white tutu. And it reminded me almost of like Black Swan vibes, but it looks like a little girl.
When you watch the trailer, the trailer looks really good.
Can you explain it of like what it's like? Are we going to do a whole video of whether or not?
We should do a whole video on that, because like the trailer starts off where you're like pretty interested in it.
Okay.
It's like it could go a couple different ways, but it's a little bit thriller-esque.
Okay.
And then it just takes a fucking... Did you watch Malignant?
No, I never did. Not good.
It was good until you knew what it was, and then it got so... I don't think a movie has cliff dove more than Malignant.
See, Nick, this is how you know that like I haven't seen you in a while, but like...
Is that my nose?
That's your nose, dude. That's what just like whistled at us.
I was looking around because I was like, what is making that noise? My schnoz.
I can't. If you know Joe, then you know. Wow, I just noticed your shirt. Very nice.
Shout out to Monty Burns.
Wow.
Rough and Rowdy champion.
Really proud of him. Yeah, if you know Joe, then you know that he doesn't like seeing the entity. The thing that is the scary thing, it ruins it for him if it's especially not something that's like realistic, right?
Right.
So what, like... So this like Abigail thing, can you tell me, do you want me to just like watch it and then I'll like we'll talk about it later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm like so curious to know like what detoured this from being like a decent movie.
Oh, you'll see.
This episode is sponsored by our friends over at Be a Nice Human.
We don't agree on much on this podcast, but one thing we do agree on is our love for the Be a Nice Human brand.
Their streetwear includes hoodies, beanies, t-shirts, socks, and more to choose from with the simple phrase, Be a Nice Human.
Head over to beanicehuman.me and use the promo code HATETHAT. That's H, the number 8, THAT for 10% off your order.
And remember, you can still be a badass and be a nice human.
Oh, you'll see. And
can I make a prediction? Can I make predictions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So something happens that completely derails the scariness of it. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. She competes at a ballet competition and kills everyone there as a little girl. I guess we'll see if that happens.
We'll see.
I think I'm very wrong, but this is just a shot in the dark over here. But overall, I think for this movie, the Chauncey, I keep calling it Chauncey, but it's imaginary. I think the premise of it isn't just supposed to be the teddy bear itself, but more of like imaginary friends coming to life type deal.
Yeah.
Because when I was reading it, it was saying that they're trying to focus on like imaginary friends, like what you have as a kid. And they even said it in the movie. She's like, you had imaginary friends when you were little. And I think that's what they're trying to pull from it, which I really like the concept. Cause I feel like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie, have you, where like imaginary friends come to life and like every kid as a child, 90% of them have an imaginary friend, like something that existed that didn't actually exist. A little girl, a little boy, and
Did you?
I'm pretty sure I did. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I had a little girl, like a little girlfriend.
You think 90% of kids have an imaginary friend.
I think so at some point in their lives, like maybe not when they're older, but yeah, like I think most kids have like an imaginary friend, or maybe just me because I was a loner as a kid, like, and I moved a lot. But like I think a lot of people tend to have imaginary friends.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think that's in the minority. I could be wrong, but
We gotta ask your mom, Babs.
What is she gonna know?
Because she probably knows if you had an imaginary friend, and maybe
Don't you
just
think
didn't
I
talk
would
about
know?
it. You probably don't remember. I barely remember mine, but she was very important in my life at the time.
I don't think
but I
so.
like barely remember her.
But I also had a John growing up.
Yeah, so you had a sibling. I didn't.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I created things.
So maybe that's more
like tea parties with like stuffed animals. When you have like the tea parties with the stuffed animals or whatever, like that's an imaginary friend. You're thinking that they're your stuffed.
No, I don't think so because
Really?
because it's an actual thing.
But you're giving it like a name and like a voice and like a character.
So everybody that plays with every kid that plays with Barbies has an imaginary friend?
No, because that's a Barbie.
What's the difference between that and like a stuffed animal?
It's an animal that talks, that can't talk.
I know, but I don't know.
Versus Barbie's supposed to be like a woman.
I'm thinking imaginary is like
there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. You're just talking to like an entity. Like you pretend that somebody's there.
My phone just died. Can you look up what?
That is the quote of your life. My phone just died, or my phone's on 1%.
It was on 1% while we were trying to. Can you look up the percentage of kids who have imaginary friends?
Who have imaginary friends? I need to know like what kind of study this is too. This is going to be like.
You're just pulling straight from Wikipedia. I wonder what the budget.
What is your guess, by the way?
I had said 90, but I think 90 is really high. Let's say like 75. 75% of kids have imaginary friends.
65%, and this is going off of children's imaginations begin developing around 2.5 to 3 years of age, marking the start of pretend play. And in 65% of children, that comes with the arrival of an imaginary friend or two. 65% is high.
See?
It's high, I feel like.
That just means that it's the vast majority.
Maybe
of
this
kids.
has got to be like a generational thing.
I don't think so, because I think it really comes with like, you're thinking of like when you're like 7 or 8, probably the years that you remember, like 2nd, 3rd grade, you probably didn't have one. But we're talking about like 3, 4 years old, like when you're just a little tyke, like playing with your toys or whatever, and you're like wanting.
Do you want me to ask? I'll ask my mother right now.
Yeah, can you send her a message and be like, did I have an imaginary
She texted
friend?
me, so I have to actually respond to her message first because that would be super rude.
That's fine. I will talk it off. That's fine. Yeah, I would say that like the vast majority of people probably do have an imaginary friend. And the reason why I'm thinking is that, like I said, like I think a lot of us think of 2nd grade, 3rd grade, like you have these imaginary friends, but you don't, because at that point you're in school. Like you're in elementary school. You probably have already made friends. We're talking about those like primary years of like preschool. Maybe like you haven't really come into like your own socialness as a child. So that's when you create the realistic imaginary friends, because you don't yet have a friend group. Versus in 2nd grade, I already made my first friend. I don't need to make an imaginary friend. I needed that.
I don't need to. I have a friend.
I have a friend.
But I had a John. I think the age gap is very high. We're only a year apart.
Did you and John like fight though? So you ever?
Oh my God, yeah.
So that's what I mean. So you probably still wanted a friend, no? Like when your sister's being a witch to you sometimes when you're little, like
she grew into that as we got older, and I had real friends
at that point.
But like when we were like the age you're talking about,
yeah, you guys had each other.
We were like a year apart, so we kind of had each other, and I just followed her around probably.
Oh,
yeah, until we got to a certain age, and then she hated me.
It's fine. It's fine.
But that's probably why I don't
you probably
remember.
didn't have one then.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But I'm curious. I'm curious to know what your mom will say.
She's gonna read that and go, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you asking me this?"
Does she watch the podcast?
Apparently only the ones where I shit talk something about her.
Well, she's gonna watch this one now.
She watched the gift one and she got all mad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just
you got to pick and choose your words wisely. Don't worry, Babs. I love you. If one of us, if you can count on one of us, you can count on me.
Yeah, all right. The dependability ranking. John put herself second. Put me first and you last. So I don't know how much we could depend on you.
Come on now. I'm a great daughter.
I'll ask you. Well, I can't ask your mom. I'll ask your dad that question, though.
Yeah, that's fair. To my dad, I'm a delinquent, so that's really not going to go far at this point.
Oh, my God. Let's see. She's probably driving. She's not going to answer me. Yeah, she didn't answer me. Okay. I would ask my father, but that's not going to.
That's fine. We'll find out eventually.
Sure.
But, yeah, I do like the premise of it being like imaginary friends coming to life. I just don't know if I like the premise of it coming forward with a teddy bear. I think that's where it loses me. I could watch it and be like, well, you know what? That wasn't the best horror movie ever, but it was a decent one. But I don't know if I'll come out of it with that expectation.
I think this is a James Wan film, too. And he has been losing me.
What movies has he made?
Like he had a part in like Night Swim. We'll go through his list because he had some good ones, and then he has been losing
dropping off
a little bit.
I thought the premise of Night Swim was stupid, so I never watched it. It's like no one used this pool for years, and all of a sudden they use it, and there's like a creature that like lives in the drains.
Yeah, and apparently it's Fatso from Casper because the first image you see, you go, "Why is he huge?" It's like
a big dude.
It's like Fatso. You remember Fatso from Casper? Yeah, that's what. That's all I could think of.
Because I remember seeing in the trailer, it's like this girl swimming and she like her leg gets like grabbed by this like creature in the water. Yeah. That kind of stuff I just don't like. I mean, Winnie the Pooh is not realistic by any means.
But you know that going in.
But I know that going in. And I think when I watch a movie like Night Swim, I'm like, oh, okay, like a abandoned house, okay. And like you would typically think maybe like spirit, but no, it's just like this creature in the water. I don't know.
Excuse me.
I don't know if I like those things. That's not typically the kind of movie that I like. I would watch it. I mean, Terrifier is also not something that's necessarily realistic of a clown mime, but like,
but here's the thing in no other genre, I don't think I will go to the theater to see a movie that even looks like Founders Day didn't look great.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's a horror movie. I'll see it.
And you didn't walk out on it?
No.
You did walk out on quite a few horror movies, though. You did on Haunting of Venice. You did.
That was bad, though. That was more of like a whodunit. It was bad. The movie just sucks. Sometimes you got to rip the Band-Aid off, too.
But, like, that's not the only one. So you've walked out on a horror movie. So I think I'll never walk out on a horror because I just feel like that's, like, the kind of movie I really like watching. Nikki and I could not get through the last movie we couldn't get through, and we did, but like we struggled, was Don't Look Up. That was the last movie that we were like, this is like 40.
Do you remember the story?
What?
About Don't Look Up?
No, what? What?
I'm not going to say the whole
Wait,
thing.
with you?
With me, Nick, Brendan.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. But Don't Look Up was like an hour and a half too long. Like truly, it was just rough. It was really, and it had an all-star cast, so I like totally get that it should have been good, but it really just wasn't great.
But we had this problem too when speaking of the movie theaters and the going experience, which I think more people should do. I don't understand why these people, like everybody I talk to is like, oh, I haven't been to the movies since COVID. Like a bunch of people.
I love going to the theater.
Go to the movies because you will not be on your phone. You'll watch a movie. Because if I'm at home by myself and I throw a movie, I will be on my phone. I just won't pay attention.
See, I don't do that, but I like the movie theater experience. Like, even though I don't really, at this point, have the snacks at the movie theater, I'll get a slushie and I'll sneak in a sandwich. That's usually what I do. Like,
must be nice to have a purse.
I know. Last time I brought in a Jay's Deli sandwich. It was great. But, like, also, they don't have gluten-free things there, so no one come at me for that. Like, there's only so much I can eat. So, I was hungry, so I grabbed that. I saw someone else bring in sushi.
It is what it is, but my problem with it, and it happened at Founders Day, shut the fuck up when you are in the theater. It happened during Night Swim. It happened during Founders Day. Shut the fuck up.
You know what's so funny that Joe's saying this, but for Saw, this kid, he was quiet. He was quiet, but he also was not quiet. This kid could not stop laughing, and I would look at him and be like, what?
There was a reason for it, though.
It was definitely something that was going on, but I was like, I couldn't. I was like,
because she was laughing too because I switched seats.
Well, and you told me after, you said it was like the seat was like all the way back, right?
No, because the seat, the new fancy seats. Was that Apple or was that Showcase?
We were at Showcase.
Showcase. Was it show?
No,
we
it
were
was
at
Apple.
It was Apple, yeah. Because I
I
remember.
can't wait to watch that back as we both go like this, and then we go.
Because I remember I went around the block.
Yeah.
It was a whole to do after.
Yeah.
But we switched seats because the new funky seats, the one that she was sitting in, when it reclined, but not all the way, and it just turned. So I switched seats, and I kept doing it, but I kept going like limp with it. I was like Stephen Hawking. So we kept laughing about it.
No. The analogy was no.
Well, because I was like in the chair, like I was a paraplegic.
Yeah.
That's not why I was laughing. It was just funny because it kept moving.
I literally was like, I would look over at him and he was geeking. Like he would just be laughing. And I'm like,
you couldn't see her face.
I
She
couldn't
was
see
dying.
her face at all. So I'm like, what is he doing? And then I'm like watching the movie. And then I look at him and I remember going, what? And he's just like red in the face, like laughing. I'm like, this kid won't shut up right now. And this is my favorite movie. Like, I wasn't sure what's going on. And then I thought there was like some no stuff happening because I was like,
With me?
yeah, because I was like, why else are they laughing? Like there's something happening.
Yeah. No,
It's
it was very G rated.
I was like, there's
laughing
no stuff
experience.
happening, and he's laughing because like they're like they think it would be funny to me, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, so I missed out on it.
I'm not 13. I'm not doing this.
I mean, you might be
16. Mentally, sometimes I'm like 8.
90% of the time.
But yes, that was a little bit of a laughing fit, and I understand that could have been annoying.
No, it was fine.
But I'm talking about people talking at this level during a movie.
Yeah,
Why go? Why go?
a lot of people do that, and so the only time that is acceptable is Taylor Swift's movie of the Eras Tour concert. That's the only time that it's allowed. I wanted to see everyone sing and dance, and I did that too. Because it's like reliving like the concert. If you went and then
you went to the movie. Did you dress up to go to the movie?
No, I didn't. People expected me to. Like the friend that I went with, she was like, "You're not dressed up," and I was like, I actually had things going on, and I was like, I'm not gonna dress up for this.
God, it's bad enough. Like, was it like mostly like 13-year-old girls going?
I mean, there were a lot of like parents with like young girls who took them there for like their daughter's birthday party, and they brought all the girls, and they all had shirts on, and they all had the candy and the popcorn and the this. It was really cute though. I like videotaped like the little girls from the back like singing and dancing to every song. It was very cute.
Sorry, now you opened up a can of worms here. Do you think that the people who went and saw that movie also saw the concert live?
Yeah, because I was one.
So why would you go to the movies to see it?
Because it's like reliving it one more time.
It's a little stupid, in my opinion.
In your humble opinion.
And completely humble opinion. Yeah. I would never go to a concert. Like, I may watch it on YouTube, but I'm not going to go fucking pay money to go. Like, let me just go relive the concert that I
almost didn't. In all fairness, I almost didn't. And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to. So I did it the day that I got back from... the day I got back from Iceland. Literally, I got back. It was the next day. I got back on Saturday. I went on Sunday. Because I wanted to go in the beginning while it was still fresh out, because I didn't want the theater to be completely empty.
I went to see a movie. The original Halloween was playing in South County at that movie theater, and people were going in because that movie came out around the same time, I think, or it was still in theaters.
Yep.
And it was like grown adults dressed up, and I was like,
"Well, you dressed up for Chauncey? Imaginary?
Are you married?"
It's okay to dress. I mean, I dressed up for Harley Quinn when like the very first.
You dressed up to go to the. You dressed up as a character to go.
I don't do it for everyone. I mean, I think I've done it like once before.
Like how old were you though? I
mean, this was maybe like 2017.
You were in your 20s?
Yeah.
And you dressed up to go to a movie?
Because it was Suicide Squad. Yeah, because I really loved Harley Quinn. So
but why wouldn't? So you didn't just go see the movie? You had to dress up like the character?
I dressed up like Harley Quinn.
And you didn't?
I dressed up as Jasmine when I went to go see Aladdin on Broadway, and I had little girls take pictures with me.
Oh my God! The thought process. This is why we do this. To me, were you single at the time?
No, I was in a relationship.
That's why it ended. It wasn't me.
No, that's not true. I called it off with him. It was the same boy for both of them, though. He really liked me. He really liked me.
Wait, is this the one that was like bending over backwards?
Yeah.
I tell you what, if I ever went to a fucking movie.
If I ever go to a fucking movie.
If I ever go to a fucking movie and the girl I'm with dresses up like one of the characters.
I'm gonna let her know.
I'm out.
I'm gonna let her know.
I'm out.
I'll be like, listen, if you ever want to way out, just dress up as a character.
She wants a way out. She'll find a good way out. That I could not deal with.
It's not a big deal. Like, you make it seem like it's such a big
If
deal.
you're
like,
8, you're 28.
Like when the newest Star Wars movie, when it came back, this newest Star Wars movie had came out. I didn't dress up, but I had a sweatshirt that had Darth Vader on it with a Christmas hat.
Better though. Better than dressing up like a character.
But if I dressed up as Princess Leia, that would have been like stupid.
That's dorky. There's people that go. I swear this is a thing. There's people that go to the Comic-Cons dressed in full garb.
Yeah.
Just to walk around. Just so people can see that they don't want to meet anybody. They don't get nothing signed.
That's 100% what it is. Because they spent all this time on this costume and they just want the attention on their costume that they spent all this time on.
That is dumb. This goes back to like, I don't like people who like the same shit I like. This is really what it is. Like the horror enthusiasts and stuff. It's a lot.
How are we friends? Because I like
Bro, I don't know. I ask myself that often. I have no fucking clue.
I think sometimes you don't want to be friends with me. I just kind of force you. I'm like, we're going to be friends forever.
I know.
And you're just like,
this is like, you're like my Chauncey. I don't think we should hang out anymore, Chauncey.
I can't do it. I don't think we should be friends anymore, Chauncey.
Yeah, it's like this weird, like crying.
Because she's crying.
I don't care. Stop crying. Stop crying.
I think the girl's like literally, go watch the trailer, guys. I think the girl's like literally like 5 years old or like 6 years old. And the girl's crying because she's being haunted, and Joe's over here like, you're fine. Suck it up.
It's equivalent.
Your future kids are like screaming right now. Go ahead. Go. What?
It's equivalent, and I know you'll know this. We just talked about it. That is equivalent to the Phantom of the Megaplex Strikes Again. I hated that so much.
It was so good.
I hated it. I just couldn't deal with the kid. But if you go to the movies, just shut the fuck up. Get off your phone. And I don't know if it's people, like I don't ever see people actually drinking actively at the bars because they have bars in there now.
Yeah. I've never utilized the bar there, to be honest. I kind of just want to.
Yeah, I don't. Well, because I'm not paying premiums for fucking. I don't need a beer to watch a fucking movie.
Yeah.
But also, like, I never see people there. But then there's people that are very obviously like
belligerent.
They're either intoxicated, they're high. Like, shut the fuck. And then if you go at them,
I've done that before.
They get mad.
Yeah, I've done that once before. I'm like, shh, and then they like kept going. And there's so many times where like Nick is like a little embarrassed, but like. There's some points where I just like lose my cool, and that was one of those times where I'm just like, you need to be quiet.
But here's
and
the problem,
they thought that I was the bitch.
But here's the problem, though. If you were saying that to girls, different story. If you're saying it, and even if it's a couple, if there's a guy involved, now Nick is in the line of fire, and that's why we don't play the game, because then we have to get into a fucking fight at a movie theater.
Well, that almost happened this is small digress, but we went to Dave & Buster's, and these kids were playing like Mario Kart with their mom, and it was like a mom and like 4 kids, and they were all on it. And I was like, okay, waiting my turn. And then they finish, and I'm like about to be our turn, and I'm with Danny and Nick. And Danny's like a 40-year-old man who like has the patience of a fucking saint. So then they go and they swipe their card again. And I go, are you fucking kidding me? And Danny's like, relax, they're kids. And I'm like, no, my parents would have beat me if I like cut someone else and was like, you're gonna wait. And actually didn't even say anything to them and just like swiped my card and as if they were going again. Nick was like laughing because he knew that like Danny had it under control. But like that's that level of like ignorance, I can't do it. So
I get it. But if the thing is, sometimes there's no threat for you. Most of the time, there's no threat for you. If you say it to even if it's a guy, you shush the guy. If he's like belligerent, there's no threat. He ain't gonna hit you. You're not gonna get touched.
Maybe
he's not.
Snooki did.
It does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. 99% of the time, you can mouth off because you know you're not gonna get hit. But if you're with somebody like Nick, now Nick has to go. He's gonna get mad at you because you said something, and then if he stands up for you, you're gonna get mad at Nick. That's how, not you personally. That's how that happens.
Fair.
So you got to watch. Like that's why guys will be like, just assess the situation. Like, is it fucking worth it?
Yes, for me, always.
Well, because you guys do. There's really no threat.
Pisses me off.
There's no threat of you getting hit.
Like downstairs, one of our neighbors. Once again, small digress, but like downstairs. our neighbor's ex-boyfriend now, but like he was just a little shit. And like I was like, Nick, you need to talk to him. And he's like, okay. So like eventually he goes downstairs and he's like, hey, like, do we have a problem? And I was like, Nick is like, I'm like listening on the top porch, and he's just like, yeah, like, no, like your girlfriend like is just really loud when she gets home and whatever else. And I was like on top being like, are you fucking shitting me? Like, Nick, stick up for me. And of course he can't hear me. And Nick's just like, no, like I don't want us to play. Like he's like doing the devil's advocate and like playing nice. I'm like, I'm the kind of person that,
because he has to assess the situation.
I know, and the guy was a big guy, so
he has to assess the situation. He has to come at it from a standpoint where you don't want to be too aggressive, because now you're going to piss them off. They're going to do it even more.
I know, that's true.
If you come at him like light, honestly, he could throw you under the bus and be like, hey, sorry, my girlfriend's like, she's like, no. I'm not saying but that would
fucking
be
doghouse.
But that would be the way to do it, to be like, you know, the bro side of get it done and just like fucking squash it. You got to come at it with a nice, like, you got to be nice about it.
I want to throw fists is what I want to do.
That's because you're a girl and you're not going to get, he ain't going to fucking swing on you.
No, most of the times the kids at the movie theaters, the ones that are talking, the ones that are being ignorant, the ones that, for whatever reason, it tends to happen for scary movies. Like those are the movies that people talk through.
Because they're scared. Because they're scared.
Yeah, that is actually
the person who talks the most is the one who's the scared.
But they're usually like teenagers, or in your case, it was like a grown adult couple that was belligerent at that one time.
During
what movie was
Evil
that?
Dead,
Yeah.
And the kid was right next to me. And I had, it was, me and Graham were there. So it's like, if something did pop off, there's two of us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like,
Relax. Shut up.
we ain't going to do this. I'm just not going to bother.
Shut up.
Just shut up. Just shut up at the movies.
All right.
And go see
Moral of the
Imaginary. I know, we like derailed like quite a bit.
A little bit. We've been pretty good with it. So the fact that we derailed on this one episode is fine. Would you go see it in the theaters?
I will absolutely go see it.
I don't know if I'll see it in the theaters. I might see that one at home, but
You have to. We're going to do a recap.
I'll see other things.
It's content.
It's
It's an
it's a
investment.
write-off.
It's a write-off.
It's a write-off. Even though we don't make money on this yet. It's a write-off.
It could be.
It's a write-off.
Because it's
research, market research.
It's research for an episode. It's content searching.
Market research.
Content
Market research. Okay, you're saying it really weird.
all
On that
about
note, I
content.
love that for me.
I'm glad you do, because I hate that. I hate that for everyone, including Chauncey.
Okay, fair. See you later.
Maybe we shouldn't be friends, Chauncey.